Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Press the Action Button podcast. It's been a while, huh? Anyway, I just got back from Texas about a week ago. I got back on Thursday, so I didn't have enough time to prepare to do one last week. So this is the first one we're doing since we got back, and we don't have any topics this week, but I do have a couple things that I want to touch on. Here this week with me is D-Pad. Say hello to the people, D-Pad.
How has it been, you guys, you beautiful listeners out there? I missed you all.
By you all, you mean Higmo?
Yes, I miss you, Higmo, you beautiful man, and your eyebrows. Yeah, well, I'm glad we have such a huge fan following, and I'm glad that I'm back to my fans, my screaming fans today, so it's good to be behind the mic again.
Also with us this week is Slacker Chan. You pass that to Slacker Chan so he can say hi. We're running on a 2-mic thing until we can get one to replace the one that's fucked. Your face explode! And Game Face is with us this week as well.
With a mustache. Yeah, maybe we should. There was once Dr. Drew that had the rockin' stash, and now it is yours truly. Or as they say on the internet, I grow a teeth for you. Isn't it beautiful, huh?
Now all you need is a stash-hating girlfriend?
I do need a stash-hating girlfriend to keep me in check.
His girlfriend don't like the stash.
Okay, I don't even have a stash-hating girlfriend. I have to envy yours.
Mustache on or off?
Off, please.
So what are you gonna turn your mustache on and off like the Human Torch? Mustache on,
cool.
Mustache off.
No, I just thought of that. Could the Human Torch make a flaming mustache appear under?
That'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
Does he have that degree of accuracy? I never thought of that. Or is it just his whole body he has to engulf in flames?
I don't know, but that'd be pretty sweet, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would.
Be like, flame on. You just got a goatee.
A flaming goatee.
Sir, your goatee is on fire. I think it is fire.
I'm sorry.
There's this really disgusting radio commercial about losing 30 pounds or more. It's there's something on your chin. They're out at dinner. Did I get it? No, I think it is your chin. Your chin just fell in your soup. It's
That's
on the
really
radio.
gross.
It's really gross.
It is really gross. Anyway, like I said, I have a couple things that I really want to touch on. First is, Mega Man Legends 3 was canceled, which took away my reason to get a 3DS. I no longer have a very, very good reason to want to buy one. I have some decent reasons.
What do you do? What are you doing, Nintendo?
It's Capcom that canceled it. Capcom was making the game, they decided to can it.
This is what you call a Nintendo. Pardon the cliche there, but they have made one bad marketing move after another ever since the 3DS hit the market, even before it.
Yeah, I think they've been making bad marketing decisions since GameCube.
They released the 3DS a year or two early, and it has no killer apps that were released 10 years ago.
Really? Because I've heard that the 3DS has actually sold very, very well so far.
That would be why Nintendo's
Didn't they sell 7
president
million units already?
No, Nintendo's it's sold poorly enough that Nintendo's president is taking a huge pay cut and taking blame for it. Nintendo's president, Iwata, I believe, is yeah, we fucked up. That's basically what he's doing.
Well, I mean, PS3 didn't sell too well when it was first out, but it caught on slowly, it didn't really have that big of a fan base like the Wii. I know a lot of people who camped outside of Walmart for morning, the night before the Wii came out.
Well, they did that for the PlayStation 3 as well, and the 360.
Yeah, I'm sure there were people. Yeah, the Wii made a huge splash. I was in college when it first came out, and everyone was talking about it. Everybody needed a Wii because it was all oh, it's a motion detection video game
Yeah.
system. We've never seen this before.
So getting back to
So when you went into class that day, the only people who were there at class were too poor to afford one, right?
getting back to Mega Man, not only have they canceled that game, but we discussed a while back that they canceled Mega Man Universe. So that's two Mega Man games this year that they've canceled.
What was supposed to happen in Mega Man Universe?
Mega Man Universe was the one that took a lot of inspiration from Little Big Planet, where you could build your own Mega Man levels and stuff.
Oh, yeah, well, I think it's kind of good that they canceled that then, personally.
But still, there's two Mega Man games they've canceled in a year.
There would have been so many people just trying to get revenge on Mega Man 1 and 2. The levels would have been insane.
Well, I'm hoping Capcom canceled these so they could focus all their attention on making Street Fighter, or was it Tekken versus Street Fighter?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they are. I know they are, and it better be the most amazing fighting game ever. Because you're bringing two of the biggest fighting games together in one game, so it better be good, or people are gonna lose faith in them.
Furthermore, Mega Man was not in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 for the PlayStation 3 and
That's
the
true.
Xbox 360.
That is weird. They put Zero in there.
Yeah, they put Zero
But-
in there, and then they didn't put Mega Man, and that's like, he practically built your company. Why isn't he in your game?
Okay, I forget his name, but they're making the Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which
I'll get to
is
that in
coming
a
out.
little bit.
I forget his name, but what's the guy? There's like supposed to be over 70 characters in it, and one of
No,
the
there's 50, which is there's going to be 50 characters in Ultimate War.
the review on Game Trailer said there was going to be a total of 70.
They announced 50.
Well, maybe they changed it. I don't
They said they were going to add in 12 characters, plus the 2 downloadable characters. That combined with the original 36 is 50.
Okay, well, I'm just going by what Game Trailer said, but I forget his name, but the guy who goes, "Objection!" is going to be in the...
Yeah, Phoenix Wright. Phoenix Wright is going
Phoenix
to be in
Wright,
it.
that's right.
But-
They're adding him to it, so...
But
I thought that was awesome.
They're doing Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. They're adding 12 characters. None of them are Mega Man. Why? Why do you leave him out of both versions of it?
Well, I think they're kind of substituting him for Zero, and I can kind of understand that, because Zero uses a sword, he uses melee combat. Mega Man's famous for his gun. You can't really put guns in a fighting game.
Yeah, they can. I'm pretty sure they gave Chris Redfield a gun.
Well, you can have guns, you know, you can have like Hadouken, you know, the long-range attacks, but Mega Man is famous for his gun, like...
So is Chris Redfield. He shoots zombies with it. That's what he does.
Yeah, you don't see Chris Redfield doing like kung fu strikes at the zombies. You see him like unloading twin pistols. Boom.
Yeah.
So, or shotguns or whatever. I don't know. I understand though. It's like Mega Man, really. You're not
Marvel vs. Capcom, and you're not
And
leaving
on Mega
Capcom's. You're not putting Capcom's biggest star in that game. I don't get it. And this kind of feels like leaving him out of both versions of the game and canceling 2 games of his within a year. Kind of feels like almost like they want to hide Mega Man or
Well,
something.
maybe that's why. Maybe they're deciding to like kind of take him out of the light for a while, put him in hiding, train him, beef him up, and then bring out him back in like the most kick-ass Mega Man game ever. Maybe that's what they're trying to go for.
I don't
Maybe
know.
they're like, oh, we're gonna make a new Mega Man game. Oh, he's gonna be in this fighting game. Oops, psych. You know, it's just a whole. You get someone close. You get someone close to the peak of, release, as it were, and then you don't let them release. And then they get frustrated, more and more frustrated. So eventually, when you do get the fans to that point of release, it's like, ah! It's like the greatest.
You know what their
release
reason was
ever.
for? I'm not done talking yet. Fine, just hurry it up. I'm not done talking yet.
Me and Deepak came up with a perfect analogy for what Tim's describing.
Okay, so their given reason for canceling Mega Man Legends 3 was they said that there was not enough fan involvement in the development, and They said that they were going to base fan involvement in the development on a beta that they were going to put on the 3DS shop. They delayed the beta before they canceled the game, and then they canceled it outright before they released the beta, which means they lied to us. It's like, I mean, that kind of feels like, okay, we're going to tell you about this project that we're never going to do in the first place. That's what that feels like, you know? And it's a video game that fans of Mega Man Legends have been wanting since 10 years ago.
Thousands of years ago.
And furthermore, I don't know if you knew this, but Inafune, who created Mega Man, has left Capcom.
That could be the cause behind, Big Man's retreat.
Yeah, here's a theory.
Causality.
Here's a theory that I have on why they might be doing this to Mega Man. Okay, follow me on this.
Godzilla.
Inafune kind of told them to fuck off when he left. Basically, he left the company because he did not like some of the things that they're doing. Like,
Wait, is this a theory of yours, or is that...
No. This is his given reason for leaving. He says he has not liked a number of their business practices, and he's going to leave the company, and he did.
Yeah, I don't know specifically internally what Capcom is doing, but making us pay $35.99 to change the outfits of our Street Fighter characters, I don't think that's very
it's that
good
kind of
business
thing.
practice.
That kind of thing is exactly why he left the company. He does not like it. He did not agree with it, and to Capcom, this could feel like he's directly insulting them. And the Japanese business mindset is one of, I mean, they got the same kind of military mindset they had back in the day, where it's all about honor, you know?
Right.
So they could feel dishonored. So they're basically shafting Mega Man to try to regain honor in their own eyes. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I know what you mean. Like, basically, he was like, "Well, screw your company," and even though he probably couldn't like stop Capcom from using Mega Man, they were like, "Well, fine. You have a problem with us. We have a problem with you. We don't need your material to keep us successful."
Yeah,
We're going to make it without your...
to all Mega Man fans after they canceled the game.
See, I could see Capcom doing that, being like stubborn, being like, "Well, we don't need you. Fine. You don't want us. We don't need you or your material. We can make it without it."
Is that being stubborn of them, though, or do they just not want to touch on someone else's property? Like on something?
It would be dishonorable to say, "Yeah, we don't need you," but then go ahead and be successful off that person's work. You know what I'm saying?
That
would be hypocritical, that would be dishonorable.
Yeah, so
if that is the case, are they going to kill off Mega Man entirely?
that could be that could happen.
That could be what they're doing.
That could be what's going on right now.
There could be a potential, but I could see this as maybe the creator of Mega Man did this. Maybe he did this specifically knowing they would do that, and maybe the idea was the cries from the fans. It would be enough for the fans to go, "We're tired of this." I'm under enough pressure that they would be forced to bring him back and say, "Okay, fine. You have a problem with some of our business strategies. Well, we'll compromise. We'll stop doing this and that if you come back and make a new Mega Man game." You know what I'm saying? Because of the fans.
Here's what if this is true, then here's the problem with this is, by doing this, they may be gaining honor in their own eyes, but they're losing honor in their fan base.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Magoga Gaga, whatever his name is, who made Mega Man. Inafune. Maybe like I'm saying, maybe that's why he's doing this, because he knew this would end up forcing Capcom's hand by him leaving. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, maybe because the fans aren't going to be pissed at him, they're going to end up being pissed at Capcom. People are never going to be mad at the little man, especially the little man who made something they love. They're going to be mad at the guys who are raking in the money. Yeah, they're going to be mad at the man. No matter how honorable the man is trying to act.
Okay, now, speaking of Marvel vs. Capcom 3, obviously they announced Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. They said that it's going to include 12 new characters, plus the 2 downloadable characters, so that's 14 characters added to the disc itself. It's going to include new stages, a new spectator mode, new net code, and new character balances. Now, they promised that the new character balances and the spectator mode and the net code improvements would all be free downloadable content. Now they're charging $40 for all the stuff they said they would be free.
Capcom, whatever happens to you, you had it coming.
And you know what?
Well, I mean, like, did you see
The reasoning.
Did you ever see Street Fighter: The Later Years? It's like a live-action parody they made.
I've
like,
seen
where all
one
this-
episode of it.
There's a couple episodes out now. I think they're still making it. It's like them years later, and it's funny because Bison's an old skinny guy in a wheelchair, and it's funny. It shows the guy like this guy with blonde hair, crew cut, and everything, dressed up as Guile. Like supposedly he forces like his way into Capcom and goes, "I want my check." Or he's like, "I want my royalty money," and the guy behind the desk with the big Capcom sign in the back just goes, "No," and the guards throw him out of the building. And like they were making fun of Capcom's, of course, you know, like assessing greed, and basically like they were making fun of like what you're saying, like charge like a ridiculous amount of money for small changes to the game that most other
that they've
games,
already promised for free.
right, and regardless of whether they promised it for free or not, there a lot of other games the downloadable content they're making you pay for. In other games, they would give you that for free, and the amount that Capcom is charging, you could practically get a whole new game added onto your game. You could practically get a whole new game or a sequel to the game you have downloadable content-wise for like $40. Like, for instance, even Borderlands practically doubled the amount of gameplay that you could play from all its downloadable content.
Is that when it did the Game of the Year edition?
Yeah, and all of that was like a total of, I think they ended up putting in a bundle of like $29.99.
Yeah,
it was
that's
practically a second game.
That's a good deal.
Exactly. And like for instance, there was a battle, not exactly EA, but the division that handles Battlefield. I forget what division it is, but
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
they made Battlefield 1943. Now it wasn't extremely massive anything, but it was only $15, and it was practically like a full game. Like it was designed, the program, and everything. It was like a full game for only $15, and it was sweet. And it's like, you want me to pay like $35 to change the costumes, or like to download new, basically background art for my fighting game?
Yeah.
Are you freaking kidding me?
Ridiculous.
That should be $3 for a bundle of everything together at the most.
The reason they said they're doing this is the earthquake that happened in Japan. But
Bullshit.
yeah, that's what I said. Bullshit. Because
They've been doing this long before that.
yeah, they've been doing this since like the Super Nintendo. That's bullshit. They actually said that they would not let the earthquake affect their future plans.
Will not let
which means one of two things.
terrorists win.
Which means one of two things. They lied to us about their future plans back then, and this was their future plan all along, or they let the earthquake affect their future plans. Either way, Capcom lied to us.
I feel like the Japanese version of George Bush is the CEO of Capcom. We cannot let the video game terrorists win.
Either way, don't buy this game. For the love of God, don't buy this game. They gave you, when they did Super
what
Street
game?
Fighter
Ultimate?
Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Well, let me put it this way: I own Super Street Fighter 4, and it is awesome.
When they did Super Street Fighter 4, they added a lot more than they're adding in this version of in this update of Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom.
You know, if you've been a fan of fighting games, especially like Street Fighter and Marvel vs. Capcom, anything by Capcom, honestly, you should learn by now. They're going to come out with a better version of that game in a year. So just don't buy it and wait a year and buy the better version. Like, seriously, that's why I never even bothered touching Street Fighter 4, because I knew they were going to come out with Super or Ultimate or whatever, Super Street Fighter 4, in like a year or two, and all the bugs are going to be worked out, and we're going to have a bunch of new content added to the game that will make it even better. So if anyone's learned anything from Capcom, just whenever they bring out a game, well, that's not the real game. The real game will come out in a year, and they'll retitle it.
Yeah, they did that. They did that with Resident Evil 4 as well, or Resident Evil 5 rather.
And then the homunculi.
Actually, I guess they technically did that with. I guess they technically did that with Resident Evil 4 because they released it on the GameCube, then they released it on the PlayStation. Then they've released.
Fortunate for them to be unfortunately unfortunate enough to have the golden lamb of the happiness. Sorry, I didn't. Whatever.
Well, this is. I told you. I said had two things I want to talk about. These were the two things. Actually, they did do that with Resident Evil 4 as well, though, because they released Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube. Then they released it on the PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 2 with extra content. Then they released it on the Wii. Then they released it on PC. Now they're going to release it for a fifth time on next-gen consoles. There's going to be a high-definition version of it.
If you look at a Capcom tree of like trying to figure out the continuity of the Street Fighter games or whatever, or just a map of the games they made, it's like looking at the tree of Might from Dragon Ball Z. Like, just how many times they re-released their games. You know what I'm talking about? Like, how many versions of Street Fighter 3 came out?
Oh, God. They're supposed to be working on a high-definition version of Street Fighter Alpha 3 right now. Does that surprise you?
Yeah, and let me guess, if you're Akuma, as soon as the match begins, it just ends as, like, Akuma wins. So, wait, seriously, I wouldn't be surprised if Akuma just goes zip, pulls down his fly, and whoever the enemy is just dies. Like, I don't know if you remember that, but Akuma was, like overly powered.
But, you know, smoke weed. You're famous now. You're famous. You want to be on our podcast? You're famous. They're recording me, recording you, listening to you.
Golden, yeah, I'm happy.
And stuff. Brad Lidge just went out there and sucked. Brad Lidge, he's a pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies, and the Phillies just lost.
I thought this was about video games.
Oh, I just looked down at my phone and noticed that. But, yeah, that's the two topics that I wanted to touch on, and for the next 38 minutes we can bullshit.
You mean we weren't?
Yay!
I thought we already were bullshitting, but okay.
I just...
No, screw you. It's too late now.
Go fuck yourself.
No, you. These guys were, putzing around, joking and jerking and schmarking, and your joystick was. Seriously, now all you use jabronis are out of your, your.
Hey, I was taking it
BS material.
semi-seriously.
Yeah, semi-serious.
I was
Okay.
kind of milk chocolate about it.
You're kind of what?
Milk chocolate about it.
Yeah, okay. I see what you mean.
But, I can officially, speaking of video games, I can officially say that I seriously do prefer PlayStation over Xbox. And it's not just a fan-base thing. I know
The console looks cooler.
No, it has nothing
Physically.
to do with it. Like, it's just, everyone argues...
But it does.
Let me put it this way. You can argue it until you're blue in the face. Honestly, I will say there are advantages over the 360 over the PlayStation, and there are advantages over their network over the PlayStation. But overall, I prefer the PlayStation because I try to go through. Like my roommate has 360, and I go through trying to find things on the operating system. And it's not just because I'm unfamiliar with it, but I go through it trying to figure it out. And it's like the first time I ever got onto a computer with Windows again, trying to figure out where simple functions are, and you gotta go to control panel, hardware, blah blah blah, you gotta click on 5 tabs just to find the option you want. And it's something that should be clear as day.
Yeah, I think
Whereas-
the PlayStation is easier.
Right, I think that, exactly, like, the layout of the PlayStation, a lot of people claim that it's clunky, and it's like, let me put it this way. If you know where everything is on the 360, yeah, it actually is quicker to go do-do-do-do-do-do, and you got your option. But it's harder to find, especially if you're new to it.
Their market is harder to navigate than the PlayStation.
Right, whereas a PlayStation 3 is a lot easier to navigate. Sometimes, yeah, you gotta go scroll, dee-dee-dee-dee-dee, dee-dee-dee-dee-dee, dee-dee-dee. Okay, but it's easy to see where it is. Whereas opposed to the freaking 360, it's like everything is everywhere. Same goes for Netflix on them. And I realized they recently changed the Netflix on the PlayStation 3 to try to mirror 360s more. But it's not the same as 360s. And in fact, I'm looking at Netflix on the PS3 today. It's confusing the shit out of me. It's like there's just titles everywhere, and it's like, what happened? What happened to the one they had? Like, I was fine with it. Like, I didn't think it needed to be improved.
I've
Now
only
there's
really
like
experienced Netflix on the Wii because Paul has it, and it's divided by genre on the Wii.
right. There's like 20 titles on the screen at once now on the new PS3 version of Netflix, and it's like, really? Now I'm seeing a bunch of titles, and it's like, I don't know. I may be over analyzing it. It's just, I don't know. I felt like they were trying to mirror what they did with the Xbox, and it just doesn't flow as naturally. But whatever. But anyway, so
For me personally, it comes down to the games, and I think Sony has the better lineup of exclusives.
I do think they have the better exclusives, but I will say this. Xbox Live does have a lot more content. Like, as far as stuff you actually want. I gotta be honest, half of the stuff on the PlayStation Network, you go in the store, a lot of it is bullshit, or you don't care. Or, like, some of the stuff that you would want to see that you can see on the internet just simply isn't on the PlayStation Network, and I think that's because a lot of the companies say, why bother with the time it takes or the money? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, because I don't think Sony gives out to the third parties as much as the Xbox does. But then again, I think the Xbox is giving out too much money to third parties, and that's why I think their network isn't as good as it used to be. Because they're trying to get more people on their network by, in a sense, selling out more to other companies. And I just think their network is too convoluted.
Hey Alex, you want to talk about Planet of the Apes? Want to see it?
Can I say I saw a trailer?
Did you play?
And I know it, normally I don't judge a movie based on the trailer, but I saw the trailer and it's like, really? We have guns. We have guns! We have anti-air, anti-tank. We have freaking nuclear weapons. How did we not beat monkeys? I don't care how smart they are. In the trailer, I did not see one monkey pick up a gun or do anything intelligent. They were still doing monkey things. No, they are not beating us. We outnumbered them too. So I'm sorry.
For starters, there was actually an explanation for it, and you wouldn't think of it right away until
Did
close
they
to the
take
end.
over like militantly, or was it just
They left it
intellectually?
very, very open-ended. Basically, I'm not giving away too much here, but I will say this: that it ends with the monkeys getting across the Golden Gate Bridge and occupying the giant redwood forest of Northern California, and then it just kind of, you have a bit of an epilogue, which I won't give away because that would be giving too much away. That explains it a little bit more, like in case you haven't picked up on it yet, which I'm dense, I didn't. Second of all, first of all, you have to see that. You have to see that to really get it. Second of all, we don't have anti-monkey guns. We never really thought
I'm sorry,
we needed it.
but as far as last time I checked, a bullet penetrates flesh no matter what species it is. But let me put it this way: like, I mean, when you see the trailer, like, yeah, I know it's still you have to spend belief, but you still have to have some kind of air of believability that this could happen. Not that monkeys are smart and could take over, but the fact of how they could take over. And in the trailer, all I saw monkeys doing
Monkey stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't see them doing anything smart like setting up traps or shooting guns.
They
or
do
military
use
tactics.
wits a lot, but
But still, but you get
they
what I'm saying.
they got creative with it,
There
and
needed to be
They found a way for the monkeys to, yeah. we did that multiple times during the movie. Monkey!
Anyway,
They found a way for the monkeys to win and it actually be feasible.
okay. But all I'm saying is in the trailer,
it
though.
was almost subtle. It was like almost like the movie itself was almost like plausible.
Okay,
Almost.
I can buy that, but I'm just saying in the trailer, when you want me to get to watch the movie, right? Show me
Watch
something.
the movie. It is actually very, very
Some-
good.
you
It's
could-
very well done.
I gotta see something in the trailer though, like a normal person. Like I gotta see something in the trailer that would make me think, oh, they're doing something that could win. But like I said in the trailer, all I saw them doing was monkey business, and it's like
I don't want to spoil how they win
That's
the final
fine. That's
battle
fine.
at the
I
end
was
of
just
it.
trying to make my point. I'm not saying that.
But you'll see it and you'll go, okay, I understand. I
Right.
get that.
But just from the trailer, I just see it going. It's like no.
If you actually watch the movie, it makes sense and it's very well handled and very well done.
Plus, the initial uprising took course of, like, over the course of what, like an afternoon.
Well, I
So, like, they were expecting, they started in bringing in animal control because they didn't know what was going on.
right. Okay, well, I will give it a watch when it's only $1 or free on Netflix, but because honestly, I'm poor. And I gotta see. It's gotta be something
buy
I
it.
really want to see to go to the theater. Or
Yeah.
buy it or rent it.
Not to mention, it wasn't just the apes themselves. Apes, not monkeys, by the way. I have a mustache. Yeah, Buck died. That's not that much of a. It's a monkey. He died. Yeah,
It happens.
yeah, it happens in the wild and in the movies.
Can I just say for the record, sometimes a spoiler really isn't a spoiler until someone yells, "What the hell? Why are you spoiling it?"
Yeah.
So,
Hey, spoilers. At the end of Titanic, the boat sinks.
no, you don't say.
His sled's name
Jack
is
kills
Rosebud.
Voldemort.
Jack kills.
Spoilers, Jesus isn't really dead.
Jesus plays where the children play. The hearts of men.
The chips of justice.
Whereas the
The
last
other
line,
thing, it wasn't just
okay,
the apes; it
here-
was also the circumstances.
Here's
Yeah.
a spoiler. Last line of Full Metal Alchemist. Heart made of full metal. Yeah, that's like the last line. Like he's giving a little speech about getting through the pain. If you really want something, if you can endure the pain, blah blah blah. You can still have a heart, but you'll have a heart made of full metal.
Now, something that was really cool about it, and they did CGI on this movie, and it didn't feel
There's a
cheap or
shocker.
anything like. The CGI actually is very, very good, and it's done by the same team that did Lord of the Rings and the CGI in that movie. And
It may be good CGI. I still didn't like that movie. Lord of the Rings. I'm sorry, I didn't like it. It's like,
I love Lord of
I
the
agree with
Rings.
Kevin Smith's view on it. It's like, here's 3 movies.
Honestly, Kevin Smith likes Lord of the Rings. He said that,
But he still makes fun of it, and I agree with his criticism of the movie. Like, I'm not saying they were necessarily badly made movies or they had
they were
bad
extremely
plots.
well made.
It's just, when I see a movie, I need to be entertained. And I did not feel entertained by those movies. Like, there's a lot of great movies out there. I watch them like, that's a good movie, but I'm not going to watch it again because I did not feel entertained.
I'll tell you this: the guy that did mocap for the main monkey, Caesar, in this movie, deserves an Emmy for it. He also did Golem in Lord of the Rings, and this guy is extremely good at it.
So does he actually walk around like that? Like, why is he automatically the perfect role for being a mocap for weird things like Gollum and monkeys? Like, does he?
I don't know, why is Danny DeVito always the perfect loser? You know, it's the same question.
He
You know?
is. Because you don't feel bad for him when he loses, and neither does he. He's just.
Well, no, you know why? Because in real life, he's actually successful and fucks hot women. So he doesn't care how he's portrayed in movies.
Because poop is funny!
But it's just the way he looks. He looks like a loser. Why, like, when are mocap actors famous? Like, and the fact that he does mocap for things that crawl around on all fours. Like, is he
Well,
specifically good at
but
doing
he-
that? Like,
Apparently, because he did You've seen Lord of the Rings. You saw how good Gollum was, mocap.
Yeah, but that's
how
Gollum.
lifelike his motions were.
Yeah.
So,
but
you've
that's
seen this guy's
Gollum.
work.
Yeah, and I have, but I figured that guy would have never been heard from again. Like, he got the money from the Lord of the Rings movies and
Nope,
then
he did this as
retreated
well.
to an island.
He did this as well, and he was just as good in this movie as he was in that.
Oh, okay, well, seriously, okay, this is going kind of a little bit back here, but like I was saying, you gotta feel entertained by a movie. You know what could be what's a really good movie that I can actually watch multiple times? Like, one time we watched it in 3 weeks, even though I had seen it like 10 times before, was Danny Boyle's movie Sunshine, and that was a great movie. That was a great dynamic plot, and dramatic plot, because you were in that movie. The characters are constantly on a razor's edge.
You spelled Gollum.
Okay, I guess no one's listening.
Gollum.
Okay, why are we spelling Golem?
I don't know, but he is.
In the movie Sunshine, they're constantly on a. Okay, no one's. Okay, well, if you guys aren't paying attention, I don't think the audience will either. I don't know. I'm just being.
You want to introduce yourself?
Hey, it's Tal. What's up? How you doing?
Decided to join us.
What are we talking about?
Well, okay. Here, a good contrast between Lord of the Rings and a good plot dynamic is like the Sunshine. The characters are constantly on a razor's edge, not just in a fight.
I'd never seen Lord of the Rings.
Not only for a fight for their own survival because they're in space and further out than any other human, but because they're also trying to save the whole human race. And not only that, but they're trying to do something that they have no idea will work, will probably die, and it's only in theory that it will save everyone. And so through the whole movie, they're constantly on the razor's edge of survival and success. But in Lord of the Rings, you barely have that. It's just, except until like certain parts of the ending of the third one, the whole time it just feels like, well, we're waiting to get to the conclusion. We're walking through the woods where nothing's happening. Nothing feels like they're on the razor's edge. I feel like all the main characters could have died. All the antagonists could have got what they want. The world still would have gotten through what was happening, and eventually they still would have been like the rest of the good people in the world would have been victorious in the end. In Lord of the Rings, I felt like all the protagonists could have failed, and still things could have worked out for the good of everyone else. If that makes any sense. I did not feel that razor's edge in Lord of the Rings. I just felt like I'm on an angsty journey here.
Well, I really liked Lord of the Rings, and I read the books too.
I don't know.
And I read The Hobbit.
Maybe I'm being too pretentious, but then again, part of it I don't like Lord of the Rings just because I felt it was too pretentious. I don't know.
Well, one thing I really liked in Lord of the Rings is he didn't overdo CGI. A lot of those sets he actually built in New Zealand.
Wait. Real quick, let me say that I always think it's funny. There's two places on the earth people typically go for movie making. When it's fantasy, like Middle Earth or whatever, you know where they go? New Zealand. If you want to do an alien planet, sci-fi, where do they go? Hawaii. And I'm not joking either. They, a lot of sci-fi movies where they're on an alien planet, especially if it wants to be any kind of jungle setting, it's filmed in Hawaii. And does anyone know why?
Because they have jungles in Hawaii?
You have jungles in a lot of places. It's because on Hawaii...
Seems like a good reason to me.
Hawaii actually has the most diverse plant life on the planet. They really can't figure out why, but there's plant life on Hawaii from almost every single different jungle in the world. And Hawaii is like what's it called? Trigonometry, or I forget. Like it's like geography, but with plant life. I forget. Like it's constantly changing. You can be walking through the woods of Hawaii, and the plant life will constantly be changing it on such a dramatic scale. And that's why they typically use it as like, oh well, we're an alien planet.
How did living things ever get on Hawaii?
That's actually a good question. Did you know, part of it is because, did you know that volcanic ash is actually extremely, fertile? Yeah. Believe it or not, the plant life can grow better in volcanic ash than any other dirt.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, just the fact that, you know, it was.
Well, how did it get
formed
there in the
completely-
first
Well,
place?
it was
yeah.
formed from lava cooling,
Well,
which came from underground.
Think about
and
this. You know how
so
the
it popped up
radiation.
out of nowhere. How did seeds get there?
Well, think about this. Remember, the whole thing with the plants in Japan. The radiation was starting to spread pretty far out into sea. It was starting, even though it was only for the most part small amounts of radiation. At least within that, outside that 10-mile radius or whatever, the amounts were incredibly small. Yet still, good enough was drifting away that it was setting off alarms halfway across the Pacific. And of course, it didn't reach the U.S. But what my point being is, if radiation is able to spread that far, who says that the winds, when you have a bunch of plants with seeds and stuff, the winds couldn't possibly carry it?
Alright.
And there's been life on Hawaii.
Okay.
There's been
I
life
could
on
see-
Hawaii before recorded human history. So it's very
yeah.
possible the wind currents could have been different at one point.
So did they blow squirrels over there too?
Not no, not squirrels. But who knows how long actual plant life has been on Hawaii? And maybe
Not to mention, at one point,
we probably
Hawaii
brought
may
animals
very
over
well
too.
have. No. At one point, Hawaii. Well, it was volcanic. It
It's all
wasn't split off
volcanic,
from more land, but it. Yeah, but at one point it may have been a lot closer to.
That's true.
To
To
land.
mainland.
I mean, like swimming distance even.
Right.
Under that kind of circumstance, it could have been birds.
Right. Yeah.
Are you suggesting that a swallow could have carried the coconuts to Hawaii?
Why, yes, I do believe I am.
How could a 5-ounce bird carry a 1-pound coconut?
That coconut was small at one point. Remember that.
Swallows.
Just
the
like your
size
nuts.
They're swallows the size of like the Mustangs. I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts.
It was a prehistoric swallow, that's why it was so fucking big.
Like,
Pterodactyls carried this shit to Hawaii.
that is a good question, though. They really don't know how all that different plant life got to Hawaii.
We just
And
decided,
that's
pterodactyls.
Right. But it hasn't been there since prehistoric. Hawaii hasn't been there since prehistoric times. Pretty sure. But yeah, that's why I'm saying though that it's a good sci-fi location shoot, is because all the plant life that got there, and we don't know how. It's a very strange
Someday they're gonna be
landscape.
like, someday it'll be like a bunch of Hollywood actors there in Hawaii recording a film, and they're all gonna die in a volcanic eruption, and then they'll be like, horrible tragedy in Hawaii. Arnold Schwarzenegger died in a volcanic eruption.
They chose to keep that in.
Volcanoes, the only thing manly enough to kill Arnold.
I don't even think that would work.
That would actually, it would be pretty ironic that, after Terminator 2 and the first one, I don't know, it's just that he's shooting like Terminator 7 or something.
He's
and,
shooting Terminator 7 in
and
Hawaii.
then he ends up dying actually in a volcano. Like, he actually falls into the lava. And it's like, "Ah!"
No,
Like,
he's in
and so-
Hawaii and he's fighting the volcano. He's
So-
like, you take that lava back,
But
bitch!
it would be funny if he actually did die in like lava and they kept the footage put in the movie, and it's just ironically like
He has
it's like
enough
he
strength
dies.
to do the thumbs up as he's
Yeah,
thinking.
exactly. That would be the most metal death ever.
I'm just imagining him like newspaper headline: Schwarzenegger saves actors in Hawaii from volcanic eruption by punching
And
volcano.
there's just a picture of his arm with the thumbs up.
He punched the lava back into a volcano.
Causing an eruption on the other side of the world.
No, the magma flow. The magma well gets cut off and it cools down. So there's just this rock with like this arm giving the thumbs up jutting out of it.
A memorial.
Yeah.
It petrifies. A petrified
Memorial
Arnold
to the day that
Schwarzenegger
Schwarzenegger saved the world, saved a bunch of Hollywood
arm. Yeah, dude, they would build a shrine around that.
by punching a volcano.
Ultimate Warrior would try to save him by like trying to confuse the volcano.
Trying to. He wouldn't try to. He would succeed. You ever listen to that man talk?
I just saw some footage of it was a video blog by the Ultimate Warrior out of character. Well, I use the term out of character loosely. He's still pretty. He's talking about Geico commercials or something, and I was like, "What is
Still
he
pretty
talking
nuts.
about?"
He's nuts and less philosophical out of character. That's the big difference. He's less philosophical.
Philosophical. Now I want a popsicle.
What must I do to get ready for WrestleMania? Should I punch a volcano into the
Should
ground
I jump off the
with-
tallest building in the world? Warrior! Warrior!
Oh, go good!
Ah, dangly parts. Awkward silence. You know,
Wearing
we
doesn't
actually,
make the world work,
you
volcano.
know, we should just. The rest of this podcast should just be us watching the review on Warrior and us laughing at it. Brilliant! Anyway, is there anything else going on with video games? How about... Oh, wait, I got an idea to talk about. What the hell, Hideo? I want to see more Metal Gear Solid Rising! Why? Why didn't you go to E3? What was that all about? Did you...
I know, he's
No,
had to
I
get
didn't-
working on another game right
Yeah, I know, like, they did a short interview with him, and it's like, really? There was no little other teasers of Rising you could give us? You've been working on it for a year since you last gave us a trailer. Like, nothing?
now. The fuck is that?
But,
It's funny.
well,
It's funny.
I don't know, did you see that interview with Hideo? They did?
I don't think so.
Because he wasn't going to be at E3, so he did an interview. And oh, by the way, he did have a trailer that they showed that actually had Angry Joe in it. Like you remember Psycho Mantis, right? It
Yeah.
had Psycho Turkey or something like that. That was Angry Joe. He actually hired Hideo Kojima likes his stuff and actually hired him and a few other people to do the Transparent trailer. Like did you see that where the guy's like walking around town pulling a cart with a whole system and TV on it, like trying to play Metal Gear 3, and it's like, I'm getting killed by a shadow pod because of the glare from the sunlight, and all this other stuff. And he like even walked into a grocery store pulling this thing when they were yelling at him to get out with it, and it's just great. You gotta see it. But anyway, no,
Fuck was
they were
that?
interviewing him, and on the background they had it's not actually the game he's working on, but it was just this mini little, like, basically test game they made, and it looked freaking beautiful, like, that they were working on, because he's actually developing his own, like, physics engine now, because he's very intrigued about Western style developing games now, because as you might know, Metal Gear Solid 4 did do very well. And from a design, like honestly, from a basic game design standpoint, it looked good, but it was like a game from the 90s. Like there was one, like in the first part, the first act, there's literally a loop you can find where you can just stand there, killing soldiers over and over as they come out this door, like infinitely.
I know he has
Like,
a
it
lot
is-
of respect for Western developers, and he's gone on record in the past and said that as far as furthering game development, the Western developers are way ahead of the Japanese
Right.
ones.
And story-wise, I didn't have a really big problem with 4, but as far as actual gameplay in 4, like he improved the mechanics like of what you did with the character, Solid Snake and online and everything, but you had a lot more control, especially even though it was third person. As far as control as like a soldier and teamwork, he went out of his way to get ahead. But there was still a lot of mechanics that it made it feel like I was playing a game from the 90s, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I still felt like I was playing Metal Gear Solid 3 or the original Metal Gear Solid, and it just didn't seem like the game, in a sense,
you guys
has
going?
truly evolved. Like, how should I put it? Metal Gear 4 felt like Metal Gear Solid 4.0, not Metal Gear Solid 4, if that makes any sense. And I know a lot of people felt that way. In the end, he ended up being disappointed with it. That's why he never came out with the director's cut, even though there was a lot of fans who wanted it, because he cut out a lot from that game. But, so, I don't know if that's part of the reason why I think that's part of the reason why he's very interested in Western development now.
Rumor has it he's working on another Zone of the Enders.
I heard that too, but you know, his physics engine looks really good, and overall he's always been a really good game designer, and I hope in the sense with the new games he's coming out with, the brand new series he's working on, and Metal Gear Solid Rising, I hope he literally once again redefines the gaming industry like he did so many years ago. And what we saw from Rising, even though it's like pre-alpha, still looked awesome. I don't know if you saw any of that footage.
Yeah, I did see some of it. It looked really cool.
It was really brutal though. Like, they actually had to tone down the trailer for the Japanese audience, because you literally saw people getting cut in half and blood going everywhere. It's like,
You saw like
it
some
was
guy get
metal.
his like spine ripped out or something.
well, that was like an artificial being. It was like a robot, but the trailer, the other trailer with gameplay in it, you quite literally, like, time would slow down and you can actually decide where you're going to cut, like, horizontally and vertically. And you literally see, like, in slow motion, you go as, you just decide where you're going to cut, you cut them in half, and then it went slow motion again, and you set up for two different cuts, and you literally, like, cut this guy into pieces, and it's, like, it's brutal.
You can literally
But
sweep someone's legs out.
yeah.
You can sweep someone's legs out underneath them, and then as they're falling, like,
Like-
turn into the side, like cut what's left of them in half before
Yeah.
they hit the ground.
I know.
It's really
metal.
yeah.
But also they're saying, like, one of the big things about Metal Gear was all about being able to get through war without killing as little as possible. It was about, yeah, war is necessary, but value life at the same time has always been a big message behind Metal Gear. They've always been basically an anti-war war game, in a sense. And they said they're trying to do that again with this one. They said you can, if you want to, you can slice people up, but they're trying to make it so that if you go the route of not killing people, like using the blunt side of the sword, you get more out of it in the end. It'll be harder at first, but through the game you'll get more out of it by not killing people, by just basically hitting them with the blunt side. So, of course, and that also makes for more playthroughs.
Now, does the sword mechanic work exactly the same if you're using the blunt side, or are there specific moves?
Well,
that
obviously
can
you
do?
can't cut them in half. I'd imagine it's essentially the same. It's just basically instead of the sword going through them, it would hit them. The arm would
Yeah, just
bend slightly,
hit them in the
Right.
face, like
hit them in the face. The side would come
knock
in.
them out. Because I could see like coming up behind somebody and like
Because
choking
honestly,
them out with the sword, or like
Yeah.
knocking them unconscious. But
'Cause
I mean,
the
if you're
fact of
just
the matter
swinging it and
is-
hitting people with
well, no,
metal.
it's one thing when you're just randomly hitting someone with a stick, but if you're actually have deliberate strikes with a blunt object, you hit the right spaces, you can just as easily disable someone from being able to get up and fight you back as it would be as if you just slaughtered them to death. Because there's certain points where you hit them, they're not getting back up.
Yeah.
With a blunt object, so.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
the
saying?
kneecaps, yeah.
Or like you hit them in the jugular, they're gonna fall unconscious and piss themselves.
Just go into a coughing fit, yeah, and probably pee themselves. Yeah.
Exactly. So They don't put that in the TV or movies a lot, or about them pissing and shitting themselves. And it happens a lot.
Really?
In real life, yeah.
People piss and shit themselves a lot? Like,
Yeah.
just in general?
Well, no. Just, I'm gonna piss myself. No. Like, in combat, when someone's
Not Colt
incapacitated.
Leathers.
Yeah, we're not talking about Colt Leathers here. No, they don't. Okay, so you know, a little context real quick. We know a friend of ours, Colt Leathers, well, not really a friend, more of a classmate from high school, just decided one day in our programming class he was bored. We were waiting for our teacher to show up. He was bored, so he just decided, I'm gonna pee myself. And he pissed himself. And we're just like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, I was bored.
He got out of class for that. Like,
Yeah, he's kind of a smart move because they sent him home because of
peeing
that.
yourself is a smart move. Like, yeah, I don't care
If you
want
wanna
to
go home early.
for it. Like, you peed yourself. Like, there's
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but Colt Leathers really didn't have any shame. And I gotta say, after someone saw you masturbating with her, yeah.
That's the guy that got caught jerking off by the mailman, jerking off to Val
Yeah.
Kilmer, right?
Yeah, he was actually.
What a fucking weirdo.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't actually jerking off to Val Kilmer.
Sure he was. That's what the mailman thought.
What was he actually watching?
I think he was channel surfing.
Oh yeah, he was channel surfing, trying to find something,
Hey, perception's reality.
jerking off.
While jerking
And
off.
all of a sudden he heard something. He looks up just as he stops channel surfing. He looks up, sees the mailman happening to look through the window, and looks back at the TV screen with his dick in hand. And there's Val Kilmer. So,
So as far as the mailman was concerned, he was jerking off to Val Kilmer.
Reality.
so
He's a faggot according to the mailman. The end.
but after that, it's kind of hard to not have, to have shame. So after that point, but anyway, back to what we were saying. Yeah, in real life, like people, like they get shot, or if they're critically injured, their nervous system goes out of control, especially when you're in shock, and you will piss and sometimes shit yourself. Like, yeah, like if you, like, for instance, if you got stung by a bee and you are having an allergic reaction, you can end up losing control of your bladder and pissing
Peeing
yourself.
yourself.
Yeah, it happens a lot. Just ask a paramedic or an EMT; they'll tell you all the time. There's a lot of people they picked up in medical emergencies. They pissed themselves. Or
They
even
just
shit
left
themselves.
that out of Saving Private Ryan for good reason.
Yes, I think it would be kind of harder to get the Emmy. Oh wait, they did it. That's right. They got nominated. What? Wait, who won the Emmy? Was it like Oscar? I mean, sorry. What was it? Was it Titanic or something that won it instead? Shakespeare in Love. That's it.
That movie sucked.
Yeah.
So
It
did
did
Titanic.
But Shakespeare in Love, yeah, over Saving Private Ryan. Fuck you. That was probably like the only good movie Vin Diesel had good acting in. You gotta give it credit him.
Yeah,
for
you're
that.
right about that.
No, okay, I'll give him. Wait, I'll give him this.
Diesel played a serious role.
Yeah, Saving Private Ryan. Well, actually,
Wait a minute. In Saving Private
Actually-
Ryan?
Yeah.
What? Oh, I
by the sniper.
was too young to know who that was. when I
Well, of
first
course,
saw the
I
movie.
didn't realize it until I saw it years later after. Yeah, that was him. I was like, holy shit.
Wait, he
That's
was
Vin
the
Diesel.
sniper or he got killed by the
He
sniper?
got killed by a sniper.
They're trying to save that French family and somebody got struck down.
Wait, was he the guy who they had to overdose him on morphine?
No, that was
No.
Giovanni from Museum.
Yeah. There's a lot of actors that were, other than Tom Hanks, there was a lot of actors in that movie that was like their first role, and they got real famous after that movie. Well, okay, I'll say this: Vin Diesel did do a good job in Pitch Black, but it wasn't a good acting job. Let me put it that way.
He was good for the part.
Yeah, he's good for the part. I'm a fucking badass.
I don't talk unless I hate you.
Yeah.
That's why he
But
works so
Chronicles-
well in
Chronicles of Riddick was a
Fast
piece
and
of
Furious
shit.
movies too.
I think it was.
Blasphemy!
No, it went from maybe it made
And the
fun
knives
game.
were cool.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
You
I'm
shut up,
sorry.
dude. That was one of the
Let's
best.
go from a movie that's more surreal about space travel to a fucking fantasy world in space.
We
No,
should have a movie podcast.
yeah,
We're an
special-
hour in. You really want to do that? 'Cause we could do that.
Tonight, or you want to do a second? Second.
Okay, we can do that.
Well, how much? Yeah, how much time do we have left on this one?
This one is an hour already.
Okay, well, we could end this one here. We've been pretty much bullshitting anyway, so we could end this one and do an extra one, and you'll hear it next week, but we're going to do it tonight. Well, it would make sense since you, it's been so long since you did one. We could do two tonight, and that way you have material to work with. Yeah!
It's been another edition of the Actual Podcast here on digital-delirium.com. As always, I am your host, Joystick. With me this week was D-Pad. Right, D-Pad?
Peace out, Wisconsin. You guys take it easy. Tune in next week. We got a special episode for you or something. Bye.
Also joining us this week was Gameface. Say goodbye, Gameface.
This is a fond farewell from the Visage, the game.
Furthermore, there was Slacker-chan. Say goodbye, Slacker-chan.
Before you contact me about your internet problems, make sure the modem is plugged into the wall! Yes, okay, goodbye.
Yeah, that happened, didn't it?
Oh, yes, many times. We even had a woman who thought that the signal was beamed down to her and didn't need to connect her modem to their computer or wall. That's my job, helping people with their internet connections.
Tell her she needs a tinfoil hat to keep the aliens
99% of my customers don't have a legitimate problem. My job is basically to help the helpless.
And joining late was Town.
Alright, I'm late. I'm a fag. Whatever. Bye.
Yeah, you are a fag. Fag.
Wait, you ride a Harley?
Yeah, I do.
It's South Park reference.
Bye, people.
We'll talk to you guys next week here on digital-delirium.com.